After LeBron James complaining so much about flying to Milwaukee for a preseason game, I said on this show that they had to go in there and they had to win, and LeBron James had to play. All those things happened. It was an ugly basketball game, but the Los Angeles Lakers ultimately came out of Milwaukee, got the dub. They walked in the trap. They took over the trap. But it was one player in general that no one expected that ended up being the savior for this game yesterday. Welcome to Lakers Digest. My name is Hunter Pitcoff, where we cover everything surrounding your Los Angeles Lakers. If you have not already, guys, subscribe to the channel. I don't know why you haven't already. I don't want to keep going with this video if you're not subscribing. I know you're watching. So subscribe to the channel so you keep up with everything we got going on here heading into the regular season, which starts on October 22nd. That is 11 days away, guys, against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we got everything about preseason and the rest of the offseason here as we get excited about the upcoming regular season. Today's video, where did this man come from? So we're going to look at the stat sheet from last night's game. And what you're going to see here, some really bad shooting performances, honestly. The Lakers continue to struggle shooting the ball, especially from three. It was an ugly basketball game. The Bucks didn't shoot amazing either. But one player in general that stood out was Quincy Olivari, who was an undrafted free agent out of Xavier, played at Rice for a bunch of years as well. Ended up being the savior for this game. In 9 points, scored 11 points. For 9 minutes, 11 points, 4-6 in the field, 3 of 4 from 3. Also chipped in with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and he actually ended up not getting a steal, but I actually thought he did get a steal. So this is what J.J. Redick had to say about him after the game. Quincy completely changed the game, picking up full court, being disruptive, taking time off the shot clock. I thought he executed exactly what we want for someone in his position. So that is really high praise for J.J. Redick. I mean, you literally just hear him say right here how he completely changed the game. I mean, a guy who is an undrafted free agent. Now, he's signed to an Exhibit 10 contract. So, for those of you that might not exactly know what that means, so an Exhibit 10 contract pretty much allows NBA teams to convert a player's 1-year minimum contract into a 2-way contract after. So, of course, there's the players that sign to the Lakers directly. Then there's 2-way players who are signed both to the Lakers and the G League team that can be converted. So a step below that is Exhibit 10 deal. It was introduced a couple of years ago. These 1-year deals are often not guaranteed, which lets NBA teams waive the player, remove their cap hit from the team. So basically, if there's a prospect out there, typically undrafted free agents, but sometimes it's also guys you kind of just want to develop in the G League, see what they got. Teams will sign them to these Exhibit 10 deals, and so it's almost like a practice squad if you watch the NFL at all, right? Like, they're on your team, but any team can kind of pluck one of those guys away if you ultimately never really upgrade them to your regular roster. So Quincy Olivari is currently signed to one of those deals, and this is a guy who had a very, very well-decorated career at Xavier and on the college ranks here. So ended up playing at Rice University, which, of course, guys, is not a big school at all. But you really see him kind of claw his way up the depth chart, right? I mean, he went from not being a starter at all to ended up averaging close to 19 points per game. The dude is an absolute sniper. 2 seasons in his college career, and he's 23 years old. Turned 23 this year. This is a guy who has a lot more of game experience under his belt than a lot of college kids, and because of the COVID year and when he started playing in college, he's actually ended up playing 5 years and really took advantage of the transfer portal. And so his last season was at Xavier, a much bigger school. He had averaged 19 points a game, shot over 40% from 3. Defensively, this dude is an absolute dog as well and really gets after it on both ends of the court. There's a game where he scored 43 points last year against DePaul, which is one of the highest scoring games in Xavier University history. I think it's like a top 10 scoring performance all time. And on top of that, too, no player scored that many points in a game since David West did it. For you young kids out here who don't know who David West is, very good power forward who played a long time in the NBA for teams like the Hornets and the Pacers. The New Orleans Hornets, not the Charlotte Hornets. That's how old and long ago he was playing in the NBA. So David West was the last one to score, which he scored 47. I believe in I think it was like 2005 or 2006, around that time, if I'm not mistaken. for Xavier and the Musketeers there in Ohio. Or Indiana, excuse me, somewhere out there in the Midwest. Memory's blanking. But for Olivari, I mean, he's a baller. I mean, you saw the confidence he had out there. And I'm not going to sit here, guys, and say that he's going to be getting minutes in the Los Angeles Lakers rotation this season. So we're going to pump the brakes a little bit on that. But what I will say is I love hearing stories like this. I mean, the Lakers have had these success stories before. Alex Caruso, who was an integral part in the Lakers winning an NBA championship. And I still get depressed every time I think of the fact that the Lakers let him go for Taylor Horton-Tucker. And now Alex Caruso has become literally an all-NBA defensive player and is an absolute stud and fit the scheme. He's a player that he's more than what the stat sheet shows. But I don't want to talk about Caruso too much. You all know how much I love him and how much you probably love him as a Laker fan too. Austin Reaves is the next example, undrafted guy out of Oklahoma. He ends up being one of the best players on the Lakers currently. So Quincy Olivari, there's not the odds are against him, but this is a guy who, just like those guys, played really good basketball for a long time in college, played at multiple schools, although Caruso didn't. He was always at A&M, Texas A&M. But Austin Reaves played at Wichita State, transferred to Oklahoma, just like Olivari transferred from Rice to Xavier. And so this is a guy who I think the Lakers need to keep an eye on. Now, they have 3 players right now signed to 2-way deals. It's Colin Castleton. It's Alara, the big man from France, and then they also Christian Coloco. So all 3 are big men. I'm assuming they're going to keep around Castleton and Coloco because they really need big men. But if Olivari can potentially, maybe, find his way somehow into that third 2-way deal to get upgraded from an Exhibit 10, then no team can pluck away Olivari, and he could be someone that could be around for the long term for the Lakers and a prospect that is definitely taking the most out of his opportunities here. So, final point here, what are some of the other takeaways we can take away against the Milwaukee Bucks here? So some of the guys who I was really impressed with, because, look, a lot of players did not play very well in this. Anthony Davis had a rough game, 5 of 14. LeBron was 4 of 11. D'Angelo Russell, 3 of 10. You also saw Austin Reaves not play, dealing with a minor injury. Probably would have played if it was a regular season game. 2 of the guys who I was really impressed with was Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent, who were 2 guys I continue to be impressed with. 2 games in a row, Rui shot the ball really well. Did get an offensive rebound in this one as well. Only 1, but he's working on it. 2 steals for him, 14 points, 6 of 12 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. And then Gabe Vincent, who to me looks like he's going to be the first guy off the bench for the Lakers, 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 in just 11 minutes, 8 points in that game. So those are 2 guys that have played really good basketball, and 2 guys that I think are going to be 2 of the 6 best players on the Lakers this season. So they're going to need both those guys to step up. They're shooting the ball really well, which, of course, if you want to play for J.J. Redick, you're going to have to be able to shoot the ball because that's the type of players he wants out there. He made the joke that he wants to shoot 53s in the game. I think they shot 44 in this one, so they got damn near close. But realistically, I don't think the Lakers are going to shoot even 44 threes a game. I think he just joked around and just wants to see them to shoot more threes, and I'm sure Laker fans want to see that too. So let me know down below in the comments, guys. Quincy Olivari, is this someone that the Lakers should really keep an eye on? Is he someone who, could really develop in the G League? Could he, dare I say, eventually contest for a roster spot? Because, I mean, if I'm being honest, guys, the Laker fans aren't going to want to hear this, but he's been better than Bronny James. He's been better than Jalen Hood-Schifino so far in the preseason in that lone opportunity he got, whereas those guys have played in 3 preseason games and have not looked nearly as good. J.J. Redick is coming into this team with no favors at all. So he's definitely going to, play the guys that he wants to play, and Olivari does have a chance to make this roster eventually. Who knows? I'm not going to bank on it, but I at least like the kid, and he's got an awesome opportunity here for either the Lakers or someone else. But if I'm the Lakers, and he had some really good moments in the Summer League for them this year as well, this is someone I definitely want to keep an eye out for, and someone who they should leave around. So let me know in the comments, guys, the Quincy Olivari game. in preseason against the Milwaukee Bucks, he ends up being the shining star that no one expected, and perhaps he could be someone who gets a roster spot, and if he does, we'll definitely talk about it here on Lakers Digest.